What is 5G? Why do I want it? And why these guys keep pressing me for it? If you want answers to this and a little bit more, stay tuned. What's going on, DLP fam? And Happy New Year. Hey, so I just wanted to drop a quick video because I've been asked about this consistently over the last about year. What is 5G? Why is 5G? Why am I being beat over the head consistently by all these cell phone providers? T-Mobile just announced that they're the first nationwide 5G service provider, and there's a little bit of confusion about that. So I wanted to make sure I explained some of the basics to clear up some of that confusion. 5G, like many other things, there are levels to this. What T-Mobile just released is their low band 5G, 600 megahertz spectrum, which allows them to stretch nationwide coverage because the lower band frequencies go further. But with the lower band frequencies, you have less capacity or less data can travel through those lower bands. With the higher band millimeter wave that AT&T and Verizon are advertising, you can get enormous gains in the above the 20 gig download range. I've seen as high as 50, some a little bit higher download range to the consumer, but it's very, very sensitive. It's point to point. Think about your house. The best analogy that I could give to you, think about your house if you have DirecTV or Dish. If that signal is out of line a little bit, then you don't get service. That is kind of the same way if you to think about how millimeter wave works. It's not going to travel through your house unless you have an antenna to pull it in and then distribute it with a distributed antenna system throughout your house or throughout your building. So you are going to get those really, really great speeds. You're going to pay for them because it's going to be expensive, and there's going to be a lot of businesses and venues that will take advantage of those things so that the consumers inside of those venues, think about conferences and stuff like that where you need a lot of data, some airport hubs and so forth for premium customers, will be providing those to the consumer. What T-Mobile is providing is also a faster than 20 gig speed, which is the minimum that ITU set as a standard for 5G, set as a standard for the 5G, and that allows them with that lower frequency range to stretch across, because it's kind of, if you think about your 4G and your voice over LTE, that's the same kind of spectrum that's already working in your day-to-day right now. If you have Verizon, you have AT&T, you have T-Mobile, you're already using that frequency band for what you're doing now. So if you think about that, it's in that same range. So that's why it stretches so much further. Marquez Brownlee, he did a pretty in-depth video on the millimeter wave where he went to Chicago and tested on Verizon's 5G network, and I'll link his videos below because he does great work. And he also recently did an LA test on the T-Mobile 5G network. And what I'm saying is exactly what he found, that he had to stand close to the towers to get those enormous speed gains on 5G. With Verizon and with T-Mobile, he was able to drive around. So don't be misled by that, but also know that T-Mobile's strategy, which I think is brilliant, by the way, is to get in the consumer's ear and say, hey, we have the first 5G. It's going to be faster than your 4G. You're going to see those speeds. You're going to buy those phones. It's going to have the radios in them. Hopefully they're selling you phones that also will work with millimeter wave, because if or when they merge with Sprint and they do that mid-band and then they ultimately do the millimeter wave, you won't be hit over the head again with another phone purchase that you have to take advantage of those higher speeds. So just remember, there are levels. You're going to see an increase in speed with the T-Mobile network, 5G, which is going to be great compared to what you have now. However, it's not going to touch what Verizon and AT&T are doing on the millimeter wave stuff. It's just a shorter range. And right now there's not as many phones that will take advantage of that. Also remember, small disclaimer, you will have to have those 5G radios in your phone, so you will have to upgrade to get those phones. If you look at the fine print in those commercials, you'll see that it says must have the compatible phone to work with that. Anyway, T-Mobile, starting here, will add the 1900 spectrum when they acquire Sprint, and then they'll get to their millimeter wave, which they do have a chunk of down the road. Verizon and AT&T are going the opposite direction, where they already have spectrum in those lower frequencies. They will change them over as they legacy other services, and they start with the millimeter wave. So they'll be way ahead on that side, and then we'll blend it in. So it's just two different strategies. But as far as the consumer psyche, T-Mobile is really a master at marketing that. So just be careful, don't be fooled. And when you see that Apple has started to put the 5G radios in there, and whichever standard they've gone to, make sure that you actually pay attention to which frequencies that they will. Is it a low band, mid band, and high band? My guess is they're waiting so that they can put the radios in all three frequency ranges in the one phone, so that you can take advantage and have the best service for that device, because they put out quality products. Not saying that Samsung and Huawei and all the others don't, but that's that. One last thing that I want to touch on. The reason why you're being beat over the head with 5G and the Internet of Things and what you call the edge networks, where all the equipment is on the edge of the network so that the latency is less, so that you get to the network faster, which contributes to the speeds, obviously, is because if you think about 5G and technology, it's really the next industrial revolution. There's no really other way for me to put it. There's not too many things that are world changers left on this planet, and this is one of those things. Everything technologically based will be talking on a 5G network, and the goal, if you talk to most manufacturers, whether it's automobiles, appliances, plants, if it's shipping, no matter what it is, they want to be wireless. And the fact that you can download that much data in that short of a time over the air is a game changer. And American companies, if you think about it on this level, Huawei, China, Samsung, Korea, Apple, US, there's three major players in this. It's just the next revolution. So anyone that's in that technological space, that's going to use the technology, that wants to create for the technology, is working to be on board for that. And that's why you're being beat over the head with it, because all the products that are coming out that they're working toward are on 5G compatible devices, machines, whatever you want to call it. And if you're going to be able to utilize that, and for companies to get more efficient, for companies to be able to cut their costs because of the ability to not have you come in, to download your files faster, to have doctors perform surgeries over the air with precision because the latency is not there. Because the latency is not a deterrent. It's just, I can't explain how much of a game changer it is. So that's why you're being beat over the head with it. Anyway, if this was helpful, please hit that subscribe button. Please please hit the like button. Leave your comments below. I'm working on getting representation from T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, Ericsson, Samsung, who are the manufacturers of the equipment that's being used. And even some of these major venues like the new LA Rams Stadium, the Raiders Stadium, who are trying to put this technology into their buildings for the fan experience. So that's all I got for today. Eddie Arnold here, DLP Business Hub. I appreciate the support. See you on the next video.